Okay. Orange Township BZA for October 14th, 2021.
Mr. Miller is absent. Mr. Oster?
Here.
Mr. Shipley?
Here.
Ms. Sundar?
Yes.
And Mr. Trebs?
Yes.
Okay.
Take it away.
First case. Okay. Yeah, we could do that. Is there anybody that's going to talk? Speak? Okay, you want to stand up and be sworn in?
Yes.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yeah. You want to get sworn in? Okay. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Looks like the first case is VA-21-12.
All right, starting with the staff report for the first application being held tonight, variance case VA-21-12. The applicants and owners of this property are Sriram and Nara Pendurthi. The property is 4876 Royal Birkdale Drive in Westerville, parcel ID 318-14015-014-000, and the zoning for the property is single-family planned residential district. The request tonight is seeking an area variance from rezoning case 12-0223 Sanctuary at the Lakes to allow for a deck to encroach into 35-foot rear yard setback. Again, this is an area variance from the Sanctuary at the Lakes. This residential deck would encroach 4 feet into the 35-foot rear yard setback. Looking at the surrounding area, all of which are zoned single-family planned residential. To the north and south are single-family residences. To the east is open space owned by the HOA and single-family residences. To the west, they have Royal Birkdale Drive and single-family residences. Provided in the staff report is also zoomed out aerials. You can see there to the east the open space right behind the property there. Then for the staff review, again, this deck would encroach 4 feet into the 35-foot rear yard setback. This would be roughly an 11% variance request from rezoning case 12-0223 Sanctuary at the Lakes. Exhibit 1 shows the site plan showing the layout, and Exhibit 2 shows the site photos taken. In the first photo there, Mr. Beard, where he is standing, that is to the edge of the property line, which is 31 feet from him to the cone. And then the cone is measured 14 feet from the residence there. The fourth picture provided shows the open space behind Mr. Beard standing there. And then also provided as a Google Street View site photo. And I believe the applicant is here tonight if he would like to say anything on behalf of this application.
Come up to the mic, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, good evening. This is Sriram Pendurthi and 4876 Royal Birkdale Drive, Westville, Ohio 43082 is the primary address. And this variance is to allow deck instead of 10 foot to allow 14. That leaves 31 foot to the end of the property line.
Right. What's the side setback? Everything was listed there as 17.5 feet from the building and everything, but the side setback was not marked on the...
I believe it's 12.5 feet for this area.
Okay.
Yeah. It's 12.5 and 12.5. So from the morning room, wherever the 17.5, then again 12.5 foot to the other property on the left side and the right side.
Just curious.
That is typical.
Yeah.
It looks like the community manager homeowner association, that this is the last sheet in here. You already talked to them. That's okay. Yeah. It says community manager, so I assume that was okay.
Are there any other questions?
I have none.
Sir, anybody that has any questions in the audience?
Do you have any questions?
No, don't. I'll make a motion to approve VA-21-12 as presented.
I'll second.
Pretty cut and dry.
We have a motion to approve variance case 21-12. Motion made by Mr. Oster, seconded by Mr. Treves. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes.
and Mr. Treves.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion approved.
You ready for the next case? Yes.
Variance case VA-21-13.
Okay, starting with the staff report, this is variance case VA-21-13. The applicant is Brett Gilmore, Signcom Incorporated. The owner is the Nutter Company LLC. The property is 1156 East Hall Road, Lewis Center, Ohio. Parcel ID 318-341-02-002-006, and the zoning for this property is planned commercial. The request tonight is seeking an area variance from the Orange Township zoning resolution to allow for multiple signs to be installed above the allowed height. Again, the summary, the applicant is requesting an area variance from zoning resolution section 22.03, section C, to allow for 3 wall signs to be installed above the allowed 15 feet in height. The signs proposed are to be 15 feet and 1 1/4 inches, 19 feet 2 7/8 inches, and 20 feet and 8 inches. The east elevation sign would have the 1 1/4 inch divergence. The north elevation sign would be a 4 foot 2 7/8 inch variance, and the south sign would be a 5 feet and 8 inch variance. To the north and the surrounding area, the north has a zoning of planned commercial and single family. The land use is East Paul Road, commercial use and single family residences. To the south and east are both planned commercial and office, both having commercial land uses, and then to the west there is multifamily planned residential, where are the Lake Club condos. Provided in the staff report are a zoomed out aerial and zoomed in aerial using the auditor's website. Those pictures are a little bit out of date, as there's been some construction on the site. And then onto the first variance request. So this will be for the east elevation sign. So for the staff review, our code states that such signs shall be located on or along the wall of such building which faces a street, parking lot, or service drive, and shall be located no more than 15 feet above the finished grade or height of the ceiling of the first floor of the building, whichever is less. The proposed sign for the east elevation would encroach 1 1/4 inch into the 15 feet height requirement. This would be roughly 1/7% request. And Exhibit 1 shows the measurement there for the east elevation sign. And that's all I got. If the applicant would like to talk about the first variance request there.
Hi, Jim Hartley with Signcom.
Address?
527 West Rich Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43215. We're requesting a height variance for 3 wall signs. They're typical of a previous car wash that was approved with these height signs in Orange Township and Lewis Center. It's typical of a couple other car washes in the Orange Township that have received a variance for height. The building's in a commercial strip center outlot. It's a very commercial area. These signs are externally illuminated with gooseneck lights. They don't cast light out beyond, straight down onto the sign. They're not casting light into a neighboring area, so there's no concern that it will disrupt any of the neighbors. They are dimensional, architecturally pleasing signs with gooseneck lights on them. They're not big plastic bubbles or channel letters, so they have more of a residential architectural feel to them. And it's typical with his other locations. We certainly aren't forcing the signs up to the very top of the architecture. We're putting them where they look correct on the height of the elevations.
I believe the one on 23, those were internally lit, weren't they?
They are correct. And we ran into a zoning up in Delaware that required that, and he's liked the looks of them, so we're continuing on at other locations with it, yes.
The picture on the board right now is one that was taken after the packets were delivered. The sign would go right about there.
I have some partial photos of the Lewis Center one, if that would help at all.
Well, that was my next question. So this area here is 15 foot all the way around the building. Unlike the other one, the requirements were at different heights. It wasn't just 15 all the way around the structure.
At the other location?
Yeah.
It has different zoning, or?
Different area, yes.
Different areas.
Zoned differently.
Gotcha. I didn't know this was restricted to this site. I thought this was a variance that was granted at the other site also.
It may have been granted, but
I mean,
how
it
we
may,
granted it is different.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know if you looked that one up, but yeah, that one had, I know the front facing 23 was allowed a higher height than the sides
Okay.
in that area. That's just the way that whole development was done.
Gotcha.
So is that correct? Brett, this one here is 15 foot all the way around?
Correct.
Thank you.
Which was determined first, the height of your building or the height of the sign?
The height of the building, and that is typically where we locate them on the building. We've done this typical design at several locations.
Right, but our zoning requires 15 feet, so after you knew that, you didn't modify the height of the building?
No, the building height has been has been the same prior to the sign height concern, if that's what you're asking.
You stated for us that the sign placement was pleasing or appropriate for the height.
Yes.
So if you built the building too tall for the 15-foot height, you see where I'm going.
I think I do, but we didn't build the building too high. It's a typical shell that he builds at every location required for the size of the car wash.
So if you go, well, no, that's immaterial. We have that restriction.
Okay.
So that's why I was asking the question, to see if you had modified the height or could have modified the height before you started construction.
It wouldn't have been required for the 15-foot sign. We could have, the building height wouldn't have changed based on the sign on the
Okay.
I guess it has no relevance to the sign.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Correct.
I think that makes
What he's
That makes
saying is they're building all their car washes the same.
Same, right.
I realize that, but each area has different criteria that sometimes they have to modify.
Yep. And in Delaware, we had to modify them to externally illuminate. Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
But the specific one we're talking about right now is the north.
Right, with the what?
I'm sorry, the east elevation.
1.25 inches is,
Yeah.
we can avoid that one completely, remove a variance. I wouldn't even, I mean, that's just typical. 15 feet is fine on that sign. We're in 1/4 inches, no one's gonna notice.
Yeah, that's.
I agree. No,
Well, that's not a big deal.
Yep, that doesn't even need to be requested, I agree. It was just what was sent in originally for permitting, so he said these three will need a variance.
Yep.
Thank you. And we've already received permitting for the other signs that met the height. Thank you. These were the only 3 that did not, or 2 now. Thank you.
Unless there's anything, I'd move to approve this sign.
Right, and if you want to make a motion, I think that's the, right.
You making a motion?
Yep, I'm making a motion.
Did you speak that into the mic?
Not
Right.
just yet. To approve the variance VA 2113, request 1 for the east elevation, variance of 1 and
1/4.
1 1/4 inch.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Treves to approve the east elevation sign variance for 1 1/4 inch. Seconded by Mr. Shipley. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes.
and Mr. Treves.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the 19-foot 2 7/8. And which one is that one?
North.
Correct, yes. So this is the north elevation sign. Again, the 15 feet height is the requirement, and the variance request that they're asking for is roughly 28.3%.
We do have an architectural feature on the north elevation that really interrupts that 15-foot height, if I can share that with you.
Up on the screen here, I also have provided a site photo again. This would be where the north elevation sign would be.
You can see where that wing comes into that elevation there. We either have to go above or below that wing.
Sure. Yeah.
So the drawing we have that displayed doesn't show that wing coming in.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's something we discovered once we ran into the 15-foot restriction, so we were. Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
And there's your now highway sign.
Yeah, that's on the north side.
Does the board have any questions on this sign for the applicant?
No?
No,
I'll make a motion.
okay.
I make a motion of approving variance case VA-21-13, seeking variance for 19 feet and 2 7/8 inches.
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Sundar to approve variance case VA-21-13 for the north elevation sign variance of 4 feet 2 7/8 inches. Seconded by Mr. Oster. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes.
and Mr. Treves.
No.
Okay, the last request is for the south elevation sign. The proposed sign on the south elevation would encroach 5 feet and 8 inches into the 15 feet height requirement. This would roughly be a 37.8% request. Up on the board here, this is the location where the sign would be, and also provided in the staff report, you can see the rendering of what the south elevation sign would look like.
So there's no obstructions on that side?
There are no architectural obstructions, no, sir.
So the thought process the thought process is that you want it to look like all the rest of them.
It would be strange to look at one side of a sign here and one side here and one, but
Well, what I really meant was that you want the appearance of all of the Blue Sky car washes to
Yes, sir.
look the same. That's why that was put there,
yes, sir,
as opposed to 15 feet.
that's correct.
That's why the request was made to put it there.
It's where we typically install them on all of them, and that's how we submitted the applications, yes, sir.
But, okay.
So this one is like on the back side, facing the other businesses?
No, facing the parking lot.
Fine.
Facing
Well, yeah.
Oak Creek Shopping Center.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is facing the shopping center.
Correct.
Yeah.
Does the board have any comments or questions for the applicant?
Give me a second here, if you would, please.
Yeah, I'm not sure of what, the need would be to have it that high when you're facing the shopping center that's right behind you. Over the standard 15 foot, which I'm sure they are at that also.
Yeah.
We're just simply requesting that for consistency at the other locations. The visibility certainly helps from the parking lot and from the road as you approach from the south, but we're requesting a variance for height. Again, they're non-illuminated, externally illuminated with goosenecks. They're not emitting light, and they don't have a lighted background or bright colors, if that makes you any more comfortable with them.
It's just a substantial variance. It's
Say again?
it's just a substantial variance.
Okay.
That's at least for me, that's the issue.
Could we request the same height as the previous one you just approved? which is
Well-
a little less.
My point with that is I think that the gooseneck lights are awesome. Not that it matters, but I think the lights are, that's fantastic. But it's, over 37%, for variance.
Here's the same typical sign installed on the same tower at another area.
Yeah.
It certainly isn't,
It does kind of fit in with the structure.
it's
doesn't it?
certainly not
Yeah.
shoved to the top of the building at all. I
Right.
mean, we're holding it down conservatively there, I believe, comfortably on that tower. But we,
Yeah.
based on the size and the height of the wall, it doesn't look out of place in height on the wall.
Can I ask what the structural purpose of the wall being that high?
I would have to ask, I'd have to defer to the car wash manufacturer.
Are there mechanisms up in
Do you
there?
want to speak? Okay. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So help you God.
Your name?
Name and address.
Please?
Barry Miller, 441 Eagle Court, Colorado. And president of the United States. Basically, this is a patented building. They buy the rights to build it. So we don't usually modify it because it is patented. And the purpose of that is a tower and is for fire. I do know that the restrictions for height of building, we are actually pretty, we're far below what is actually allowed there, so we could make a tower higher. But the tower is designed for such visibility and also just size towers. All our buildings are exactly the same size towers, same buildings, same materials.
Do you have the patent, or is that something we purchased?
That we buy those.
Okay.
We don't build it back. Is there a compromise in height that you might be more comfortable approving than a smaller percentage increase?
How does everybody feel about his recommendation to lower it down to the 19 foot, 2 7/8 inch, like we just approved for the other end on the north elevation?
That takes it down to what, 28%, something like that?
Yeah, it's still, I mean,
Yeah, no, I got you.
Still significant.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's.
But we did approve that one.
Right. And he made the suggestion to
Right.
drop it down another, what, a little over a foot.
The applicant will have to modify
Right.
his request, so we don't do the negotiations
No.
thing, so if the applicant wants that height, then that's what you would be requesting this evening.
That's all. I'm just trying to get a read from them what they might.
Right. Do you want to make that request?
Do I want to make that? Yes, we do. We'd like to make that request.
I kind of thought you did. Thank you. When you did that. Any other questions?
So that takes it, with that particular request, it would then encroach to 4 feet, 2 7/8 inches that we're talking about?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Does anybody want to make a motion?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Based upon the modification, the request for modification, I would make a motion to approve case number VA 2113. That's the south elevation, sign on the south elevation.
To 19 foot,
Right, so I'm sorry, let me get that.
2 7/8 inches.
To 2 7/8 inches, 4 feet, 2 7/8 inches into the 15 foot. So that puts it at 28.3%.
Yeah, just as
Variance.
the other one.
Right, this is right, exactly.
I'll second.
Motion to approve variance case 21-13 for the south elevation sign at a height of 19 feet, 2 7/8 inches. Made by Mr. Shipley, seconded by Mr. Oster. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Ms. Sundar?
No.
And Mr. Krebs?
No.
What's a timing, no? You're asking, you asked.
2-2 is a denial.
I does mean it, yeah, it was a night.
That's what, just quickly, have a great evening.
Is the board ready for the next case?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Starting with the staff report, this is variance case VA-CU 21-14. The applicant is a Columbus Sign Company. The owner is ATS Automation USA Holdings 6 LLC. The property is 7115 Green Meadows Drive, Columbus, Ohio. Parcel ID 318-230-14-008-003. The zoning for the property is planned industrial. The request tonight is seeking an area variance from rezoning case 11-0055 Creekside Industrial Park for a divergence in the monument sign style. They're also seeking a conditional use from the Orange Township zoning resolution for the monument sign. Again, this is an area variance first from the rezoning case 11-0055 Creekside Industrial Park to allow for the monument sign to diverge from the allowed standards. The surrounding area to the north is plain industrial, which is empty land. To the south is zoned farm residential, which is an AEP substation. To the east is zoned single-family planned residential. There's also a railroad to the east and the subdivision of estates of Glen Oak. And to the west is planned industrial. Provided in the staff report is a zoomed out aerial and zoomed in showing the subject property for tonight. And then in the staff review, listed are the standards in the rezoning case for Creekside Industrial Park. Those include the poured concrete caps, the 4x8 sign area per side, tan split face block, 16-inch thick sign, minimum of 5 evergreen shrubs, and the sign to be screened by shrubs. Also included is this diagram in the rezoning. Exhibit 1 shows what the proposed sign would look like, as well as the distance from Green Meadows Drive, where the sign is proposed. I'd also gone out and taken pictures after these packets were sent out of the site, and the sign would go roughly there, in the grass there. I believe the applicant is here tonight. If there's any words to be said.
Representative from sign behalf of this application for consideration. I did want to ask for clarification in terms of the request, much you mentioned in the staff report. My understanding of the code is that divergences are authorized for the township trustees.
You have to state your name and address.
Jim McFarland recently moved to 84 Skyline Drive in South Bloomfield as of a week ago.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what was your difference?
My question had to do with the staff report request. I don't recall us requesting a divergence. We're requesting a variance. My understanding from the code is that the board of township trustees authorized divergences. So we didn't ask for divergence on the application, so I apologize if that's an issue.
You are seeking a variance from the zoning, so we apologize for the text. You are correct. Divergences are during rezoning applications. So BZA, either a variance or a conditional use. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
The client, ATS Automation, understands this
sign is more consistent with the design of the facility itself. Something that we're very proud to, I believe the township approved in terms of that particular style and structure. Additionally, that's one of the reasons that this particular design we felt is very appropriate for the site because it does match the building quite significantly. We feel that the types of design features that are listed in the section exhibit F on the sign exhibit, the Creekside Industrial Park, reflect the different style of building that this one is not. The additional poured concrete caps, the overhangs, and the additional capping on the side, obviously we don't show that as part of the type of building that was approved is construction. I do feel that this particular sign design is not just within the spirit and intent of the code, but it is slightly more improved. We have enhanced types of structure, cleaner sign design. The illumination will also be a little less bright and less acting. We also feel that the sign meets all of the development standards in terms of setback, in terms of size for your development text. And we do appreciate your consideration that this would be an option that would be more consistent with the building design itself. Although it does request, we do request some variance from the exhibit of types of features that are listed in the Creekside Industrial Park.
A question about the lighting you mentioned. How is the sign illuminated?
That would be on page,
Let's see. On the final page 7, the electrical plan of the application, this would be a reverse illumination behind the letters.
I don't think we have that.
This one,
That's the colors.
yeah, what you're talking about.
I want the actual illumination, and we don't have the electrical, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
So you're saying it's interior lit
Yes.
at what wattage?
On page 1 of the design, the opaque white background color with painted black letters, and then oh, I'm sorry, there is no internal illumination. Forgive me.
Well, I'm saying, if it's opaque, we were having some issues with internal.
Yeah, forgive me. I was looking at a different drawing. This is the more recent. Yeah, there is no internal illumination.
So you have exterior illumination on the lights, on the monuments.
I didn't see any at all.
Yeah, there's not any. There's electrical being ran for charging stations that are being considered for this location. But there is no illumination that's been presented for this application. It wasn't one of the requirements in terms of the design. Our request has more to do with removing the additional poured concrete caps and the 2-inch overhang and the additional approximately 4 feet of materials that would need to be constructed to make the sign larger than what's necessary. Quite frankly, based upon the speed limit and the ingress to that location, we feel that this design would really make the sign too large. We don't feel that it's necessary to have an abundance of graphics. We really want to keep it simple and clean to make it easier for lines of sight for people who might be turning left coming up out of the parkway. So as much as we respect the increase on the park's intent in terms of design, something for safety, rights of way, ingress, and cleanness of something that's not illuminated is much more appealing to this development than what I think the developers have considered when they designed this very extremely large type of structure.
So for clarification, no illumination.
Correct.
No illumination. And the base appears to me from the drawings as the same size as the sign, correct?
Correct, same width.
Same width, same
That's,
length.
yeah, that's the only requirement. Is that the base is equal to or
Equal
greater
to or
than.
greater.
Right.
And it was greater than, and he wants to change it to equal to.
Yeah.
So that all looks good to me.
Yeah.
So there is no confusion, like for sure, there is no illumination.
There is no illumination that I can see on this request. There will be electrical nearby for the charging stations on page 7 that are listed, but there's no illumination that's been presented or proposed for this particular sign.
Thank you.
Point of clarification, the charging stations are in the parking lot?
Approximate locations, near the edge of the parking lot, there's a series of islands that will be constructed. Somewhat in the center where those charging stations will be placed. The one that's probably closest to the sign will be a peninsula design for that particular charging station. Probably about where that third tree is and that you see on the photo that was taken.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't have any other questions, Rick, do you have?
I don't, well, we've got two things here, right?
Right.
We've got a conditional use, which, don't they have conditional use already with the first?
You'd be doing the variance first and then the conditional use.
So we have to redo both of them because of the size? Okay. So I would move to approve case number CU 21-14.
Be variance.
Variance.
Oh, variance is first, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this. Yeah, VA-21-14.
I would second that.
It seems to fit in with all the criteria.
Motion made to approve case number VA-21-14, seconded by Mr. Shipley. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes.
and Mr. Trevs.
Yes.
Now we go to CU.
Yep.
And I would move to approve case CU-21-14 for the monument sign.
Yep, I would second that.
Motion to approve made by Mr. Oster to approve case number CU-21-14, seconded by Mr. Shipley. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes.
and Mr. Trevs.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else the board would like to discuss tonight?
I don't think so. We don't have any minutes to discuss or?
None for this time. I will say we received one application today for next month, so it'll be one. And I think we'll have some minutes ready for next month as well.
Okay.
Has the board been aware of the new minute structure?
No?
No?
No.
Okay, so the minutes will be, the official minutes will be by the recorder from now now on, since that's legally what we're supposed to do anyways. So when you see the minutes at the next time, it'll look a little different, so.
What's the timeframe, Michelle? If they're here, do we get them the next week and send out the next month?
That's the hope, to
Okay.
continue the same pattern.
Yeah.
This one's just taking a little longer since it's a new process for us, so.
Okay, meeting adjourned.